Another late night edition of KSR's Rapid Reaction, but this time we are celebrating a victory after Kentucky survived a scare at Mississippi State, winning 71-68. Drew Franklin here with Jack Pilgrim and Zach Gagan, who has added Starkville hater to his little byline there here on our fancy graphics we have for the show. Zach is at the arena, so we'll get to hear from him about the steam. But I want to start off by just saying that Cason Wallace didn't walk. So if you're here to talk any noise about that, he's allowed as many steps as he wants. We're not going to listen to any slander. The SEC officials did a great job tonight, and there's nothing to be said about what may have looked like a travel on that one particular play. But we'll start from the beginning. Kentucky was without Sahvir Wheeler tonight and CJ Fredrick. Both of those guys out 2 games now. CJ with the rib injury and Sahvir with the ankle. So Kentucky started Cason Wallace at point, Antonio Reeves, Chris Livingston, Jacob Toppin, and Oscar Sheboy, and jumped out big. So we'll focus on the positives for now. Oscar and Antonio especially starting out early. Jack scoring, I think, 14 of the first 16, and Antonio caught fire with 11 quick points, and Kentucky finally responded with a good start to a game.
Yeah, about time, and that was kind of the biggest gripe down in Athens was that they didn't come out and bring the fight, and it was almost the same script, same game plan, same scouting report. This is a Mississippi State team not known for its offense, not known for its shooting ability, but they are known for their tough defense. They are known for being that tough physical presence. That's what Georgia was known for, and that's exactly what Kentucky struggled against down in Athens. So to see them come out in Starkville, ready to throw that first punch instead of taking one for a change. I got to love that response. And obviously some slip-ups there to close out the first half. And then obviously Kentucky goes up 13 in the second half and then almost chokes it away. Got this close to choking away. But when push comes to shove, this was a must-win situation for Kentucky. It didn't matter how it happened. Did not matter how pretty, how ugly, who shot well, who was terrible. This was a must-win situation. Get another quad one quad one win to close out the regular season, and they got it, and that's all that matters.
It was really a game of runs. Kentucky started slow in the first couple minutes, then had a great 8-minute stretch, playing great defense and getting a pretty big lead. In the second half, had a close scare where Adu Thiero got dunked on, and then they responded with an and one, got the crowd rocking. It looked like a point where Kentucky might, fall back, and it could get ugly there. But they recovered, went on a 7-0 run, and then another 7-0 run later after that. Ended up being like an 18-2. Zach, you were there. What was it like with the momentum swings going back and forth? And, of course, Mississippi State coming back at the end. But it would be Kentucky looking like they were going to win it. Then they opened the door at the end, and, we had to sweat it out.
Well, starting from the beginning, I was kind of disappointed, actually, in the Mississippi State crowd for their annual Super Bowl against Kentucky. It was a whiteout, but kind of not the most energetic crowd near the top of it was like a Rupp Arena game against Howard, if you will, that type of atmosphere. But they had the whiteout going on. The crowd was into it. The last 4 minutes, especially, it actually felt like the place was full here. You could feel the tension going back and forth. They were not so happy with the SEC officials as opposed to Kentucky fans. Kentucky, in my opinion, probably got the better of the whistle in this one. I think there was a lot of plays that maybe shouldn't have gone their way, and they ended up getting the right calls anyways. So we'll take it there. Adu Thiero definitely came in and mucked it up, did a lot of really good things. It was the freshmen, really, I thought, that all had breakthroughs, kind of showed themselves. Let's see, I think Cason shot blank, but had 11 assists, 1 turnover, played really well on defense as well. Chris Livingston pretty much had his breakthrough type game. So all in all, it was really good from that end. I can show you all kind of what we're looking at here.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful Stark Vegas.
It's my 14th favorite arena in the SEC.
Yeah, I think mine too, and I haven't been to 12 of them. But overall, it's sticky down here. I told you all before, it's just sticky everywhere. Like my hotel room, inside this arena, outside, everywhere is just 70 degrees and sticky. So I'm actually sweating right here, just sitting here. The coldest spot in the entire arena is down in the bowels where you do the media stuff. So I also had a Monster energy drink for the first time ever because they were selling those here, and I needed some sort of caffeine after the 8-hour drive. So I had a Monster. A lot of new things for Zach here down in Starkville.
Well, you mentioned Cason Wallace. I made the mistake of including him in all 3 of my parlays tonight. And though he hit 2 big free throws at the end of the game to secure the win, he did go, let me look at this up because it was so bad. 0 for 8 from 3 and an overall 1 of 13 from the field for 4 points. He did have an 11 assists, but Jack, if I told you Cason Wallace would have gone 1 for 13 and Sahvir Wheeler and CJ Fredrick weren't playing, what would you think the outcome of this game would have been?
A disaster and a half for sure. But you got to love when you slide him over to lead guard duties with Sahvir Wheeler out, considering the circumstances, having to play as many minutes as he did, for him to go out there and go 11 assists, 1 turnover, and the way he was getting assists, the lobs, the pick and roll, just kind of taking what the defense was giving him. Yeah, his shot wasn't falling, and short. And he's in the middle of a slump right now that doesn't make sense after the way he started the year shooting, I think, 43% at one point. He was shooting from 3. That's obviously taken a nosedive here as of late. But for him to step in that role with Sahvir Wheeler out, needing to kind of emerge as that go-to playmaker on this team, kind of letting everybody else around him thrive, getting buckets for Jacob Toppin, finding open shots for Antonio Reeves, Chris Livingston thriving the way he did off the dribble and attacking the basket, knocking down the occasional mid-range jumper and a three-pointer, and then obviously finding Oscar to do Oscar things. It's exactly what we needed from Cason in that circumstance, no matter how ugly the box score looked, all the way up until the et cetera numbers. All the shooting numbers were terrible, but then once you get to the other fun stuff, that obviously worked in Kentucky's favor.
Well, Wallace wasn't adding much to the scoreboard, but we need to shout out Chris Livingston and Jacob Toppin. They combined for 29 points, but Livingston especially, so good to see him play well. Got a lot of grief for that air ball he had at Georgia, which wasn't exactly his fault. Then comes back and hits a big 3 in this game from the top of the key and hit all 6 of his free throws. I know it's a proud moment for the freshman having a big game on the road, and then Toppin also playing well. Oscar Tshiebwe got his numbers, another double-double for him. So really outside of Wallace, everyone kind of brought their game to Starkville, at least scoring game, and played well in the win. Zach, we're not there, and we're at home where we couldn't hear Coach Cal. We haven't gotten to hear this press conference at all yet. So can you give us a quick recap of what Cal was like there on the scene?
Everything comes back to this refuse to lose motto that is now, I don't know what the counter is. I didn't keep track, but I'd say it was close to 10 times. He referenced back to his UMass days and how that's kind of how they used that, mentality towards the end of their season to turn things around. He talked about some game against Rutgers or something like that. No mention of the Waltons today, but he was definitely trying to get out of there still too. I think he understood that they needed this win, and he even said again that he's got a good team. Feels like he only says that after a win, but they sure did look good tonight. Kentucky I feel like they hit a lot of tough shots, shots that they don't normally hit, especially Chris and Jacob. Jacob hit a couple of really tough shots that just happened to go in. So, but Cal was really, he was very high on those guys like Toppin and Chris, big on how they performed. Toppin, especially in the press conference, was going back to that refuse to lose motto. That just seems to be what is tying this team together right now, is the fact that any loss at this point can probably knock them out of the NCAA tournament. So, or the projected NCAA tournament. So that's it. If that's going to get them across the finish line at this point, I think it's working. So it was a massive way to come in here and put that motto to the test there.
We also want to shout out to Duke Darrow for his 8 minutes off the bench. He did get dunked on, but he had 4 rebounds, played well, lots of energy. Showed a lot of why we're optimistic about his future, whatever that means for his minutes the rest of the year. Adu is going to be a player that's going to contribute for a long time. This ended up being a quad 1 win for Kentucky, and not the only one of the night, because Texas A&M beat Arkansas. So Kentucky picked up 2 quad 1 wins on a Wednesday heading into Saturday. And Jack, we've got the big game against Tennessee. Do you know anything about the status of the backcourt, and how are you feeling about the team's mindset after getting this win, with the big one going back in Rupp Arena on Saturday?
Yeah, on top of that Texas A&M win, you also got Auburn emerging as a quad 1 opportunity. Now they're now up to 27 in the net. So you can kind of put together a streak of 5 quad 1 opportunities out of 6 to close out the regular season, this win being one of them. in 4 straight versus Tennessee at Florida, who just lost Colin Castleton to a broken hand. And then you have Auburn, who's now a quad 1 at home, and then to close out the regular season at Arkansas. It's what Cal was saying after the Georgia game. All we got to do is just keep winning, put this behind us, put these struggles behind us, and just figure out how to win games. It doesn't matter how it happens. Just, that's what tonight was about. We just figure out ways to win games. Obviously, object number 1 is getting Sahvir Wheeler and CJ Fredrick back. I was told leading up to this game that it will come down to just pain tolerance with CJ, that he does have a cracked rib that would keep him out like 6 to 8 weeks if it were just to, limited to what his official health diagnosis was. So he has no choice but to play if he is going to play through that injury, because he'd be out for the year if not. So that will be up to pain tolerance. I haven't gotten an update on where things are. He's still day to day on that one. And Sahvir Wheeler came in with a boot today. I was told that he practiced a little bit last week, after missing the Arkansas game. So I was kind of shocked to see him be unavailable at Georgia, and then now he's in a boot. I don't know if he's regressed or how that is unfolding, but definitely not good news as you're kind of approaching this must-win territory down the stretch.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround for them to get back. With this being a Wednesday game, you got to take a day off, then you've got to get ready for Tennessee on Saturday. But for now, we will let Zach get out of Starkville, get the hell out of there as fast as he can. You driving back, or are you going to overnight it?
Oh no, I'm gonna sleep in my sticky hotel room, and I'll be back tomorrow evening in the real Vegas, Lex Vegas.
Safe travels, and Jack and I will see you in Rupp Arena when the Cats play Tennessee in a very important game for the tournament resume. But for now, we'll sign off. And Cason Wallace definitely did not travel, so shut up if you think he did. Have a good night.